Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. Glad you're here this morning. Got a great show lined up, a special guest here. But first, let's take a look at our weather for today. We're brought to us by Gulf Coast Air Conditioning. Drew Pollard and his hard-working crew taking care of your everyday comfort needs. High today is going to be 86, low 67, just like it was yesterday. And let's look at our water temperature at the end of the pier, something we talk about every day. It's brought to us by Alco Electric out of Lynn Haven. This morning, it's reading an 82. It's gone up 3 degrees in a 7-day period, so that's been really interesting to follow. Our river readings brought to us by the good folks at Panama City Coca-Cola. The Apalachicola at Bluntstown, 8.8, and it's pretty steady. It's going to be pretty steady, it looks like, for the whole next 3 or 4 days if you're planning a weekend river trip. The Choctawhatchee at Caryville this morning is reading an even 5 foot and level out. Our rain, we don't have a lot of rain coming in the next couple of days, so both rivers should be looking really, really good for some good fishing this weekend. Our tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn. We're getting into a little bit of a neap tide the next 2 or 3 days. Low this morning at 145 and high after lunch at 404. And the wind has been this way for 15 straight days. How about southwest at 10 to 20? Pretty steady and a good breeze. Okay, let's take a break. We'll come back with our special guest. Okay, welcome back. And we have a special guest here this morning. All our guests are special, but this is Aaron Rich, and he's an outdoor guy. And we're talking about doing outdoor things. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks, Coach. Appreciate you having me.
We've been talking, we've run into each other over the years, and we've got to get together because he does outdoor stuff, podcasts, and also. Tell our viewers a little bit about yourself.
So I own a marketing firm downtown, an IT company, and then I also do a fishing blog where I write stories about trips that we take around the world. And then I've turned that into a podcast as well called Between Two Rods. And so just telling stories, man. It's about telling stories about fishing and adventure and just things that happen. So
we know a little bit about that, don't we? Telling stories, and some of y'all sort of stretch them out a little bit, but he's a great communicator. And your job, what do you do? Exactly what job you do?
So my job is that I own a marketing firm, and honestly, my staff handles most everything. But I run that, and then we help businesses grow and develop and get presence and leads coming in and that sort of thing.
A great generation of what they do. Their whole generation, they communicate so well with the social media, and that's what got us together. The love of the outdoors.
Yes, sir.
And then you had this idea. You grew up in Maryland, but you ended up down here. But you had this love of fishing, right?
Yeah, I developed it here, man. I didn't do as much in Maryland, but when I moved here, I just really fell in love with bass fishing specifically, and it just really struck me. And I think because I work in a digital world, getting away from the digital world and getting into a place where you're just in life, right? Like that's what it's about. Yeah. So you started thinking about some places to go that like a little bucket list thing, sort of. So tell us about that. That's cool. So I always wanted to do these adventures around the world, and when I turned 40, a really good friend of mine from back in Maryland came down for my birthday party, and we were having a beer talking about it. And we decided that, I'm never going to do these things if I don't have someone to hold me accountable. So him and I made a pact. We made a deal that every year we're going to do a bucket list trip. We're going to go somewhere in the world where we have adventures and fish and, do something that we've never done. And we've done it every year and sometimes multiple times per year. It's been awesome.
So how did you decide which places to go?
So we alternate. So one year I'll pick, and then next year he'll pick. And so sometimes I like to push his limits. Like when we went hillbilly hand fishing, that was not his thing, but I wanted to do it because I want to be young enough to enjoy it to the capacity that I can. So
yeah. Well, when you started putting it together, I know you had to sort of set a certain time of the year to go. So,
just depending on the season. And sometimes that's summer and sometimes that's winter, depending on what it is. When we went to Brazil, that was the summer is January, so we went in January for that. So you really just kind of have to play it based on the optimal time to go. So, yep.
But now you love to fish around here. You're talking about fishing around here a lot too, don't you?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I love bass fishing and deep sea fishing and inshore fishing.
I was showing him a map of the lower Apalachicola River. I'm treating him like he doesn't know anything about it. He showed me where he goes on East River and places like that. So he knows all about. We talk about the lower end of the Apalachicola River system, how cool that is, and he knows all about that.
East River's my spot, man.
So when you said that impressed me. That impressed me a lot. And you like to go inshore a lot and then offshore?
Yeah, I get to do a lot more offshore than I do inshore because I got a good buddy of mine that takes me with him every time he does. I'm a great deckhand and I clean fish and clean the boat and gas money for the boat, man. I'm a great deckhand for you if you need somebody.
That's very smart. If you have a friend that have a nice boat, just help them out on it.
Yeah.
That's good. So, snapper and grouper and whatever you can.
Yes, sir.
Catch whatever you can.
Yep.
Yeah, that's good. When you actually do your inshore, what do you target in a particular area in here in this Panhandle or?
Yeah, so I do a ton of bass fishing, and so when I go there, I love Dead Lakes. It's one of my favorite spots. I think it's one of the most beautiful places in the world. At Apalachicola River System in its entirety, Lake Seminole's a place I go to a lot. So those are probably some of my favorite spots.
We're talking about doing, we can do a TV show like this. You can do your podcast. Well, just here in the Panhandle, there's so many different places to go. We're talking about that all the time.
It's awesome, man. This is such a great place if you love outdoors and love fishing.
Exactly.
You have everything.
Yeah. And you do something different every week for like a couple of months.
Yeah.
Because I've done that. We want to get into it. What he does with podcasts, we've got a ton of pictures, and we're not going to get through all these pictures. He's been literally all over the world. Fishing just about it, and I'm so tickled to have him come on. So we'll take a quick break and we'll be right back. Okay, sitting here with adventurer, outdoorsman, fisherman around the world, Aaron Rich. We're glad to have him. So we have these pictures. He sent me a whole folder full of them, and I decided we're going to go alphabetical across the world. Okay, so let's start with Alaska. Here we are in Alaska. Okay. Tell us about it.
So you can't go to Alaska and not take a bear selfie. So that was necessary. Those things the bears would come right up to where we were filleting fish and all that, and somewhere in the background's a big mama bear.
I was going to say, where's the mama?
Yeah, she's back there.
Okay.
And that's a glacier lake that we flew into, man. One of the most beautiful places I've ever been to in my life, man. You go in between these snow-capped mountains and the seaplane lands in there, and then you fish in that all day.
Wow.
It's awesome.
Wow.
Unbelievable place. And that's the same lake, but those are some of the sockeye that we caught.
Sockeye, okay.
Yep.
Wow. What do y'all use for bait on those?
So, gosh, I remember we were using some kind of jig or something like that. And a lot of them you're just kind of snagging. And I love that picture because the snow-capped mountains in the background in the lake, man. It's just, I swear if we hadn't caught a fish there, I'd still be happy.
Oh my goodness, that's the attitude too. Hey, do you eat these things?
Yeah, man. So we would be able to limit on so many per day, and then we would fillet them, and they processed them and shipped them back to the States for us that way.
No way.
And that's my favorite fish of the entire trip. That's a lake trout that was at that glacier lake that's there.
Oh,
and
wow.
Man, that thing, I fought it on light tackle. Absolutely awesome fight, great fish, just beautiful, man.
Wow.
Yeah.
What
incredible.
A trip.
And that's a rainbow trout. That thing's like an 8 to 10
That's a
pound
rainbow trout?
Yes, man. So we were catching 8 to 10 pound rainbow trout all day long one day when we were on the Kenai River that way.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, incredible. And that's a sockeye that was caught the first day on a fly out that we did. We went across the sound into this lake. And that one is they change colors. They start off kind of a chrome color, and then as they kind of get more closer to death, they turn kind of a pinkish color, which I thought was
my goodness,
beautiful.
How cool is that?
And so that's Brazil. There we actually.
Well, okay, so we're going from Alaska one year. Now we're in Brazil. All right.
So that's another trip we took beginning of last year, and their season is actually January is their summer down there because they're in the southern hemisphere. And so as you can see, they're pulling bass trackers behind this big mothership.
So that's what that is. That's all individual boats. The mothership.
Yeah. So there's a big 100-foot boat that we stay on that's got these nice cabins and restaurant and all that. And then they pull the bass trackers up the river. And then each day you get on the boat in the morning and they take you out in the river and you just fish all day and then come back to the mothership at night. They feed you.
Oh my goodness.
They have a bar upstairs that you hang out in, and it's incredible. So. You can see how it's kind of pulling the boats behind it.
Oh, so you got two ropes on them.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I think there are about 20 guys that fished, and so that's a lunch that they put together for us on the beach on the Amazon River. Beautiful, man. They set it up and they're grilling out on the beach there for you. And
oh my goodness.
I mean, it's pretty luxury, man.
Look at that.
Isn't that great?
Look at that.
Sipping on a Corona
so
on the
that's
side.
the Amazon back behind you.
Yeah, that's the Amazon River right there. They
That's
just
huge.
pull up on the bank. Man, I was saying, man, like I cannot even imagine telling you how large the Amazon River is relative to like the Mississippi, and the data on it, like the output of the Mississippi versus the Amazon River. It's ridiculous how large the thing is, and you never realize it until you're up in the plane looking at it. Like, oh my God, like this thing has 50 branches. They're as wide as the Mississippi. It's
wow.
nuts. Yeah.
Wow. You can see that picture there. I mean, that looks like a big old bay or something.
Yeah,
wow.
no, that's just one little tiny part of the Amazon.
What a beautiful location.
Yeah, it's awesome, and that's the boat that we would stay on.
Oh, I say that's pretty luxurious right there.
It's top notch, man. They really treat you right, and the staff's incrable to you, and just treat you like a king.
They treat you good. I was thinking it'd be like one of those houseboats on that place called the river, but with a generator. No, look at that.
You know, it's funny, man. I told you I go with a friend of mine, and I am someone that if it was up to me, I would go like the show River Monsters and stuff, where he's like staying in like native camps and mosquito nets and all that. But I think my friend likes it where it's a little more luxury than I do. So.
I understand. Okay, this one here.
Yeah, and that's just a sunrise as we're out on the bass trackers, man. And I thought that was a beautiful shot of the Amazon as we're kind of cruising out to a fishing spot.
Wow.
Yeah, and there's one of the peacocks that I caught. I think that was the biggest one for anybody for the entire week.
Oh, wow.
And then we catch a lot of those topwater, which is crazy, man. Like you're sitting there throwing these big plugs, and those things just come up, and it sounds like somebody's dropped a cinder block in the water when it hits, man.
Oh,
it gets your heart going for real.
Yeah. Well, listen, did y'all have like about put money in a pot for the biggest fish
We
for the
did,
week?
yeah.
So you won it?
Yeah, so I got a little money that
I
week.
love it.
Yeah,
I love it. That makes the trip worthwhile. We do that on our trips.
Yeah, and that's my buddy that I fish with, that I went to high school with. He's the one that I primarily do the bucket list trips with, but that's a giant that he caught, and he caught that one topwater too, so it was awesome. I sat there and watched him catch the whole thing and got it on film too.
Wow.
Yeah,
that
great
is
fish.
Cool.
If you notice, that thing has a big knot on the top of its head too, and those are the males when they get big knots like that. And yeah, you can see it there.
Okay.
Yeah. Isn't that awesome looking?
I didn't realize that. So that's a male peacock bass.
Yep. Yeah, if they got the big knot like that.
How about that?
Yep.
You learn something every day.
Giants, man. And so that's actually a pink dolphin that is in the video there. And those pink dolphin will hover around your boat as you're fishing. And when you release the fish, they go and they try to steal the fish, just like our dolphin here, right? So it's just how the dolphins are, and that's a trip to the Dead Lakes I had with a friend of mine.
Wait a minute, we're going to Alaska, Brazil, and now Weewall.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're all around the world, man.
I love it. You're in one of my favorite world spots right here, Weewall.
Yeah, man.
So
that really is.
Look at that.
Yeah, Dead Lakes to me is one of the most beautiful places in the world, and we have it in our backyard, man. It's awesome.
It's crazy. Okay.
Yeah.
So you were talking here. So
this one is actually me. It's a video that I have on my social stuff, and it's me fishing at Disney. And you're not supposed to fish at Disney, but I did, and so I was kind of sneaking around. But that video went pretty. It got a lot of views online. But me catching a bass there, and just got some nice video clips of that. I did get busted eventually.
You did?
The security came up to me at one point at night when I was fishing, and they told me I can't do it. But there's tons of great fishing at Disney, and they do charter trips at Disney too.
I saw that. I've seen that. But listen, do you when you were there at Disney, so you had to sort of go out there. Which lake did you pick out? Because there's so many there.
The one by Magic Kingdom is the best one, I think, and there's tons of places to go, and nobody, I mean, it's not pressured much, right? And the people that fish it, I don't think know how to fish. And so if you know how to fish and you get to do a Disney charter, I had a day on Topwater Frog where I just wore them out all day out there fishing, and we were fishing around lily pads and all that, and man, it was dynamite. So.
Well, did you? I guess you had to catch and release right there, didn't you?
Yeah, it's all catch and release. But man, there's some big fish in those lakes.
So you had the kids down there. You have a family. So you have. Well, how old are your kids?
Yeah, I got a 10-year-old and a 12-year-old.
So they love it, don't they?
Yeah,
they
man.
Love Disney.
Two girls, and they love fishing with me when I get to take them, and to me, that's another kind of bucket list thing is when I get to fish with my kids.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's take our final break and we'll come right back. Okay, welcome back. We're glad you're with us this morning. As you can see, our guest had been doing some serious fishing and knows a little bit about it. So that's always great to know, to have a guest like this. And we may get through all these pictures, but real quick, let me do the fishing game time today, brought to us by Blue Water Outriggers out of Port St. Joe. Looking at 6:47 to 8:47 this morning, tonight at 7:11 to 9:11. So we're going to. A lot of y'all are familiar with this. We're going to go to another segment of fishing. How about golf course fishing? So you've done that too, right?
Yeah, well, I got to make the most of my time. So when I'm on the golf course, we've caught some pretty good fish. And so that was actually this past weekend out at Legacy.
This past weekend?
Nice little 3.5 pounder there, but yeah, that thing was a good fish. And I caught a couple other ones that were pretty decent.
You got to tell us about these pants. What's the deal with the pants?
I'm from Maryland, man. That's and nobody loves the flag like Marylanders do. So I have a whole outfit. We always wear goofy outfits. And there's my unicorn pants in that one. But that's out at I think that's Bay Point there.
Bay Point. That's a nice bass.
Yeah, it's good bass.
On the golf course.
Tons of good bass in golf course ponds. So
okay,
and then, so that's actually on the Harris chain, and that's my buddy of mine. He's actually used to pro fish, won a world championship actually. But we had a day on Harris chain where we're catching fish like that nonstop for about 3 hours.
That's one of the hot spots in Florida.
Beautiful,
the Harris chain. So you enjoyed fishing down there?
Yeah, it was great, man. We had some moving water that was, they were just activated that day real good. So,
I love
and then that's my kids there, and so I like to take them to little like the neighborhood ponds like we like to fish at. And they were a little younger there, but yeah, that's my wild one. So. And then there's just a little video that them fishing I put together, and I do little shorts for social media for the stuff that we do. For the
check it out! Look at that reel.
Yeah, that's the ultimate bucket list is fishing with your kids.
That's the truth.
Yeah, man.
Look at there.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah, that's great stuff. So.
All right.
Yeah.
So then okay, so all right, got it ashore there.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And that's my oldest one there. So, and they're 10 and 12 now, so we get to go out on the boat a little bit more.
That's a big one there.
Yeah, it gets good. Yeah. Well, I've stocked a lot of those ponds when I go bass fishing. So
I bet you do.
And so there's a giant that we caught in Knoxville, Tennessee, and that was a day we did pole fishing, but we did some hillbilly hand fishing too when we went there, and that was incredible.
Tell us about hillbilly hand fishing.
Man, I've always wanted to do it, and so my friend and I flip-flop. I pick one year, then he picks the next year where we go, and I told him, I said, well, I'm going to make you do something you don't want to do. And so we did it, and man, I swear it was so much more fun than I ever imagined it would be.
So what do you do?
So when you go in, right, like you go in with a stick or something like that and see if the fish is in the hole, right? And then after the fish is in the hole, you just go in with your hand, man. You let them bite you, and they have these bony plates on their lip, and you grab it and hold onto it. And the key is you bring it into your chest, and then that way that fish can't swivel you, and you fight them that way. And it's hand-to-hand combat, man. It's awesome.
Okay, so some people call it noodling.
Yeah, noodling, hillbilly.
Hillbilly hand fishing sounds better to me.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah.
So y'all that's a big one right there, man.
Yeah, it's good fish, and we were catching that. Now that was on a pole, but I think if you scroll to the right, I think there's another one that
was that the Tennessee River?
That's Fort Loudon Reservoir is where that's at.
Okay.
Yep, yes, sir. And then that's us releasing that fish. The fish was so good, the guides were posing with our fish. So it was it's good when it's like that.
When the guide poses.
That thing pegged out a boca grip that goes up to 75 pounds. So we think it was north of 80 pounds.
Oh my
on
goodness!
That. A giant.
Goodness gracious!
Yeah, big fish. So.
Yes, sir. You need a fist bump on that.
The guides are pumped.
I love it when you see that. Okay, was that it there?
No, there's. I think there's some more on the pass there. But we did, the ones that we did where it was, there you go, there's the
here we go.
The noodling one. And so that's one I caught when we were noodling. I think that was one of my first ones. But some of those got up to like 30 pounds that we were catching that noodling. So it was pretty good.
So how deep did y'all go?
Most of it was kind of like chest height, but there were some that were like holes that were above our head, and those were the ones that were a little sketchy because you'd have to like get your breath and then go down and go in. And you gotta be able to hold your breath pretty good. I did catch one with my foot. That was pretty awesome.
No way.
Yeah, man.
How'd you do that?
So I knew he was in there, but he was way back in the hole. So I stuck my body in the hole, stuck my foot in there, pulled my foot up, and then grabbed him with my hand to get him out of the hole. And so that was one of the favorite ones that we did.
Now that sounds like a fish story, don't it? But because he don't have any witnesses, so he can tell have that. I believe you.
Gets crazy
okay,
every time. Yeah.
All right, where are we here?
All right, so this is in Lake Pichachos in Mexico, and that, if you notice, the guide's holding the fish, and that fish is live, man.
No way.
He's got a way of holding the fish like that where it calms them. And watch, he opens a beer and hands us the beer too. And
no way.
Yeah,
that fish is alive?
Yeah, that's the greatest guide I've ever been with in my entire life, man. That dude was hilarious and was a great guide and put us on fish all day. Yeah, and then you just toss it back.
I love that.
You can do that with a largemouth bass, man. And I learned how to do it, so now I can do it.
No way.
Yeah, and then so that's San Diego. We did a 5-day tuna trip where we went out for 5 days.
Whoa.
And we limited out on bluefin.
Well, y'all were out there for 5 days?
5 days in a row. It was awesome.
Wow.
We limited out 2.5 days into the trip on bluefin, where we caught, I think, 138 bluefin. And the average size was probably about 100 pounds. That one was probably about 150, I'm guessing. And the biggest one I think anybody caught was around 170, 175, something there.
So you did some really good research in finding these places to go.
Absolutely, man. You have to.
Because San Diego, you want to think that is a hot spot for tuna. I wasn't down here, but now obviously it is with these pictures.
Yeah. So we went out in San Diego and we fished around like Catalina Islands that way, and that was really awesome. That picture that you have there, I actually caught that topwater that when they get into like a frenzy, a feeding frenzy, then they call those foamer patches. And I threw that plug out there and ripped it through that thing of foamer patches, and that thing came up and hit at topwater. There ain't nothing better in the whole world than catching a tuna topwater, man.
So he's just going
awesome.
Crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, they go berserk, man. It's incredible.
That is crazy. Yeah. Well, I told you we're going to run out of time. But this has been such a fascinating show.
Yeah. Well, fishing's fun, man. Yeah.
Well, I know, and I want to thank you for coming on. How can people hook up on some of the social media you're doing?
So we do the podcast. The podcast is called Between Two Rods, and you can catch it on any of the streaming platforms. My social platforms are called The Fishing Bucket List, and so you can follow us on those. And man, we get into great adventures, man. That's what it's about.
That is awesome. So I'm going to get on one of your podcasts.
I would love that, man. Yeah, that'd be great.
We've talked about it. So he came on my show, so I'm going to get on his pretty soon. And I'll let you know how you pick it up and all, because I know you want to listen to that, all kinds of stories and all. But Aaron, thank you so much, buddy.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you having me.
What a great show, and I admire what you're doing with outdoors. I mean, that's really cool.
Likewise.
Stuff. All right, man.
Thank you.
Appreciate y'all watching Panhandle Outdoors. Your viewership means a lot to us. Y'all do something good for someone else today. Have a great day. Enjoy the outdoors. Take care of it, and God bless.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.